Hey everyone, guess who's finally back after like a month hiatus? Well, okay, I've done like a couple of things, but ever since like the beginning of the year, I haven't really done that much. But let's go ahead and let's talk about some stuff because it's been a while. We haven't done one of these in a while, so let's talk about some stuff because there's actually been quite a lot in both the Marvel sphere, the Smash sphere, there's just and of course like the PS5 and all that stuff. Like, there's a lot of stuff that has happened since the last time I've done like a discussion video of sorts. So let's go ahead and let's talk about that, shall we? Also, this video is brought to you by the HyperX Quadcast. No, I am not sponsored. I mean, look at my subscribers. Heck, even on my main channel that has like 100, sorry, not 100 subscribers, 1,000 subscribers, even that probably wouldn't get a sponsor. From HyperX, but yeah, I do have a new mic here. I'm finally ditching the old mic I've been using for a long time, although the main reason why the mic quality in some of the more recent videos has not been all that great is because I didn't have it hooked up correctly, and it was screwing with the audio quality. So I got it to sound good again, and then because my birthday just happened, like on January 29th, I ended up getting a new mic, so that's pretty awesome. I'm still kind of fiddling around with it. I haven't used it all that much, so if the audio doesn't, if there's like some problem with the audio, then I apologize, but anyways, let's go ahead and let's get started. Now, before we get into Smash and stuff like that, let's go ahead and talk about Marvel, because Marvel has been on the back burner for me for actually a couple months now. Like, ever since the whole, Spider-Man fiasco happened, I've basically just left Smash on the, sorry, not Smash, Marvel on like the back burner, so to speak. It just hasn't really been on my mind because it's like, hey, we went through the whole fiasco that was Spider-Man with Sony and Disney. Now that was done, and we had Royal coming out in Japan, we had, of course, more Smash stuff, and just in general, I was just ready to be kind of done with Marvel and the MCU, at least for a little bit. But of course, it's 2020. It's February. Black Widow is coming out in May. I'm not super hyped for it. I mean, I'm still gonna be there day one, of course, but it's kind of like, it's kind of hard for me to get really hyped for Black Widow. It's just, you just kind of, like after Endgame and Far From Home, it's like, well, it's like, yeah, I'm still gonna be there day one, but I'm by no means like looking at like all the leaks or anything. I've seen like all the trailers. Like, I know that there's been like 2 or 3 trailers or like and whatnot, and of course they're at the Super Bowl. They came out with like a new little spot or whatever, but I'm not here to talk about Black Widow because frankly there's not really anything here to talk about with Black Widow. For me, it's just kind of like, well, I'll just see it and we'll see how that goes. I don't have much to say about Black Widow though, but what I do have something to say about it is, of course, the main thing that I think most people are excited about, and it's not Black Widow, it's not the Eternals, no, it is the Disney Plus shows. That, of course, is Falcon and the Winter Soldier, Loki, and WandaVision. WandaVision was originally scheduled for 2021, but on New Year's they bumped it up to 2020. Of course, Falcon and Winter Soldier was always 2020, and Loki, I think, is now 2020 because they showed it in the spot at the Super Bowl, so I think that's also 2020 now. So it's 3 Disney Plus shows, plus Black Widow, plus the Eternals, plus there's like Morbius and Venom 2, which, aren't in the MCU, but that's another thing I haven't talked about yet that's happened since the last time I've done one of these, is the whole thing with Morbius. I'm not going to go into it because, I mean, by this point, you already know it's it's been talked about, but of course, the first trailer for Morbius came out, and there's the Spider-Man, it's the Sam Raimi Spider-Man, and it's like specifically the one from the PS4 game, but that's in the background. It's probably just temporary because they didn't have the rights to use like Tom Holland's Spider-Man or whatever, and by that point. But most importantly is, of course, the Vulture is at the end. So is it in the MCU or how that's gonna work? We're just gonna have to wait and see, but I'm not here to talk about that because that's been talked about already by everyone on the planet. And to be fair, this has also been talked about by everyone on the planet, but it's relatively recent, so I'm gonna talk about it. So yeah, Disney Plus shows. Honestly, there's not that much to talk about in the grand scheme of things. It's just that, like, those are shows I'm definitely looking forward to. I'm looking forward to those more than Black Widow or the Eternals, mainly because they're, existing characters. Now, of course, Black Widow is an existing character, but, the timing, it's like, releasing Black Widow after Endgame, after she died, is weird. I mean, we all know that it's, like, before Endgame, just how Far From Home, well, Actually, no, Far From Home was after Endgame, and he just came back. Because that was a whole theory as well. Like, before Far From Home came out, it was like, wait, so he's alive? Because, of course, you know, he died in Infinity War. So, wait, he's alive? How does that make any sense? Well, of course, we would later find out that, yes, the game did indeed take... The game. Oh my God. The movie takes place after Endgame, and, of course, he came back in Endgame at the end. So, it didn't matter anyway, but, you know, people were like, wait, so if he died, that means that the movie takes place before Infinity War. Like, maybe it's between Homecoming and Infinity War or something, and it didn't end up being the case, but you know, it's just kind of like, you know, hard to be excited for a character that's, you know, dead. Even though they're not dead in the movie, like, obviously, that's like, I don't know. So, anyways, enough about Black Widow. So, Falcon and Winter Soldier, we see, you know, obviously there's not that much footage to go off of, but of course, you know, we see Sam, who of course is the new Captain America after Steve Rogers retired at the end of Endgame, and you know, he's having a hard time throwing the shield, which is kind of funny because from what I've read, actually, maybe I'm kind of a noob here for some reason because it's been a while since I've kind of really been super paying attention to MCU stuff, but apparently in the first Avenger, they said that like what was it, vibranium? Yeah, because the shield's made out of vibranium. How like it's like 3 times less like weight wise than like steel or something like that. Don't kill me for not knowing exactly what it is. It's been a while, okay? I've been kind of out of the loop with the MCU. I haven't watched any of the MCU things or anything like that in a couple months, so kind of out of it. But so it's kind of funny that he's like but then again, he doesn't have the, you know, the serum and whatnot. I don't know. It's just kind of funny, like how he's like struggling to throw the shield. But yeah, then of course we see Bucky, we see Zemo. He's gonna be in the series, and we see a little bit of Loki, you know, and whatnot. There's not that much about Loki though. But of course, the main talking point is WandaVision, since it's now this year, and also of course, well, it's got that, you know, 50s, 60s, like they do all of the stereotypical like sitcom eras, right? You know, we see the 40s and 50s. We see like the 70s and 80s with the clothes and the black and white for like the 50s era and stuff. Like, you know, they're doing all of the tropes that we all know. And of course, the most notable thing is 2 things. One, her traditional costume was shown. Now, it's pretty obvious that that's just for like a gag, like maybe like a Halloween thing. It's like, hey, like here's the costume or whatever, and it's like, you know, her old comic costume or whatever. Like, it's obviously not gonna mean anything. It's just like a cool little reference. But so yeah, that's in there. And then of course there's like 2 in one of the scenes that she's like pregnant, and like there's 2 cribs, so that's happening. So that's kind of neat. I don't know too much about that, but I know that that's something a lot of people are looking forward to. So yeah. So we got the Disney Plus stuff. We don't have. We did. Actually, no. Just recently we got release dates. I believe Bob Iger said in a recent like interview, like during like one of Disney's like investor things or whatever. He said that, yeah. So the long rumored date for Falcon and Winter Soldier was, I believe, August, and he did confirm it is indeed August. I believe WandaVision is November? Hold on. Normally don't look this stuff up in the middle of recording, but screw it. I believe it's either November or December, or maybe I'm confusing the two. Hold on. Okay, so yeah, it's December 2020. Okay, Loki is still 2021, but it's early 2021, so maybe that's why they like showed a little bit of it. Not that much. They showed more for Winter Soldier and WandaVision, but still. So yeah, WandaVision, December 2020. Oh yeah, Winter Soldier, WandaVision, and Loki are all getting 6 episodes. What If is of course getting 20. Is it 20? Wait, that doesn't make sense. Okay, so not, because I'm confused, because What If is supposed to be like, you know, a what if thing, and they're gonna do an episode for every movie, but there's only 20 episodes. So I have a theory why it's 20 episodes. Maybe they're ignoring the Incredible Hulk in the 2 Spider-Man movies because, you know, copyright nonsense. Or maybe I'm just overthinking it. I don't know. Like, but that's kind of weird. Like, those 3 movies are not, as far as I'm aware. I'm guessing those are the 3 that aren't there because, you know, rights and stuff like that. And then, and then like for Hawkeye onward, we don't know anything. And of course, that's another thing is like, well, will Hawkeye be delayed or canceled or that's a whole other topic for another day that people have already talked about anyway. So I probably won't bother, but that's a thing as well. So yeah, Disney Plus shows look really cool. Definitely looking forward to them, although it's going to be a while until we get to actually watch them. And then of course we got Black Widow coming and whatnot. So obviously there's going to be quite a lot of stuff happening in the MCU this year, even if it's not going to be. Even if it's kind of starting from square one, so to speak, because of course, after Endgame, it's like, well, now you gotta build up to Endgame, the next Endgame. That's gonna take a long, long time, like 5-10 years, just like it was for, Iron Man to Endgame that was like 11 years. So it's gonna take a long time before we get to see, the next big bad, and we start to really get build up. They gotta build up all these characters. We got older ones, of course, and we're seeing them in Disney Plus and some of the movies. And then, of course, there's the Eternals, there's Shang-Chi, and whatnot. So we got new characters. So, that's all happening. It's not, but again, the MCU is kind of like on the back burner for me right now. I mean, once Black Widow comes out, I'll probably get more into it again. As of course, after Black Widow, we're gonna have there's gonna be Morbius, I believe in July, and that's of course gonna maybe have an MCU. I mean, I'm gonna go see it just because it's gonna be like connected-ish to the MCU. We'll have to wait and see how that goes. And then of course, there's the Disney Plus shows, there's the Eternals and whatnot. So, once we get into the second half of the year, that's when the MCU stuff is gonna start to really kick in, and that's when I'm gonna get more into it again. So anyways, that's basically what I have to say on the MCU. So, it's not really on my mind right now, but especially once we get into the second half of the year, it's gonna get probably pretty exciting. Okay, let's go on to our next topic. Let's talk about this is gonna be a really small thing. It's something that I was actually debating talking about earlier, and that would be, of course, something that me and like almost everyone does not like, but we all get why they're doing it. And that is, of course, the fact that Disney has decided to rename 20th Century Fox to 20th Century Studios. Something that I get why they're doing it, because they don't want to have like brand confusion. Because hey, because Fox still exists. Like Fox as a company, an independent company, still exists. It's called Fox Corporation. Fox News, Fox Business, the Fox network itself is still owned by Rupert Murdoch and whatnot, under a different company called Fox Corporation. But Disney owns 20th Century Fox, the TV studio, the rights to all the movies and TV shows, among other things like FX. But they don't own Fox Sports. They don't own Fox Business. They don't own Fox News, and they don't own the Fox network proper. And that exists as a separate independent company called Fox Corporation. So they don't want to have like brand confusion, like, hey, there's 20th Century Fox owned by Disney, then there's like Fox News and Fox Business and whatnot owned by Fox. So it's kind of confusing. I know there's rumors that, they just don't want to be associated with Fox News, and I'm just kind of like, I mean, I don't really care. I don't have a stake in that race. I really don't care. But I think it's just because of brand, like they just don't want to like confuse people. I think that's all it really is. I don't think it's any deeper than that. So I get why they're doing it, but it's just weird because it's like, why didn't they just do this when they bought them? That's the thing I find weird. Is like, why if they renamed them when they bought them, fine. But no, they waited like a year. Like the deal officially completed in like March 2019. But in January of 2020. Then they decided to rename them the 20th Century Studios. Why? Why did you wait almost a year to rename them? If they renamed them immediately, fine, but why did they wait? Why did they keep the Fox name for almost a year for no reason if you were going to change it anyway? I mean, ultimately, it's not a big deal. Nothing's going to change. Like, the intro is still going to be there. In fact, we've already seen a small clip of it because, the next 20th Century Studios movie is called Call of the Wild, which actually has a really fascinating coincidence because it's going to be the first Fox movie under the new name, and that is very, very ironic because they made a Call of the Wild movie way back in like 1935, and it was the last movie released by 20th Century Pictures before they merged with Fox Film Corporation, which brought us the 20th Century Fox that we know today. So it's a really interesting coincidence that Call of the Wild was the last movie to use an old name, and now the new one's gonna be the first to use the new name. It's a really strange coincidence that there is no way that was intentional. There is no way Disney was like, there's this old movie they made way back in 1935 that probably no one has heard of that happened. Like, no. This was obviously a complete coincidence, but it's really interesting. But no, yeah, but the logo is the same. The same aside from, changing the name. Like, the logo is the same, basically. The fanfare is the same. Everything else is not changing, so it doesn't really matter, but it's still annoying because it's like you're throwing a perfectly good brand out the window for, like, I get why, but still, like, I don't like it. I mean, it is what it is. It's not the end of the world, but so yeah, Fox isn't, 20th Century Fox is now 20th Century Studios. That's how it is, and we have already seen the new logo. I don't think the Fox website has been updated yet, but the actual logo has been released, and we have seen a snippet of, like, the intro, the iconic intro with the new name. It's in, like, the new, like, spot for Call of the Wild that they released during the Super Bowl. It's just like a little, like, 1 second whatever, but it says 20th Century Studios, and it's exactly the same as it's always been. It just it says Studios instead of Fox. So yeah, that's a thing. Ultimately not that big of a deal, but still kind of annoying. Anyways, enough about that. So let's talk about actually some new additions. I think I already mentioned that there's a new mic. I'm using a new mic, HyperX Quadcast. Again, not sponsored. Yeah, like I'm gonna ever be able to get sponsored. I mean, look at this channel. It's 28 subscribers. But then, the main channel is like 1,000 subscribers. But even then, it's like, it's not gonna happen. Besides, I don't need sponsorships anyway. I got all the hardware I need right now. But yeah, I got a new mic, so that's gonna something that's going to. Sorry, I'm screwing up right now trying to talk. But it's a noticeable upgrade over my last mic, which again. I actually got the sound good again. Now, the reason why I'm saying all this is because if you saw my most recent, video, proper video, on the main channel, the one where I talked about, how Smash DLC is going to be distributed, and we're going to talk about Smash in a second once I'm done with this. But, in the video, because the video was one I've been working on for a while. I've been working on it ever since September, then I kind of, put it on hold for a while, and then, at the end of December, I was like, you know what? Let's make one last video for 2019, have it be the final hurrah for me, for the year and the decade and whatnot. So I went ahead and I finished it, and I uploaded it. And aside from the audio quality, I think it's a pretty good video, all things considered. But the audio quality was kind of bad because I didn't have a choice. Because sometimes the audio would sound fine, sometimes it would sound pretty bad, and other times it would sound really good. It was really variable because the earlier segments of the video were recorded with a better mic than the later sections, and I tried to denoise it, and it was kind of a mess, but it was what it was. However, that is now fixed. Now I have a mic that sounds really good, and it'll be the standard for all my videos going forward, so we won't have bad audio in the videos anymore, at least hopefully. So, be looking forward to that, and on a separate note, I got a new capture card. Now, I'm a big capture card guy. I've gotten probably 6 or 7 capture cards over the last couple of years. I started with Elgato, with the original Elgato Game Capture HD. It was a great card. Obviously, there's the latency thing, but it's 2012. It's a 2012 card, and for a 2012 card, it's actually still pretty solid. 1080p 30, 720p 60, although you gotta set the console to 720p in order to record at 720p 60. But the main feature about it that is really useful, even today, is it has analog support. You can, of course, record with HDMI, but you can also hook up component, composite, and even S-Video if you bought a special cable that Elgato sold, which they don't sell anymore because as of 2018, the original Elgato Game Capture HD, as well as the HD60, are now end of life. They're still supported, of course. Like you can, I believe you can still get replacements and repairs. You can still get, it's still supported in their Game Capture HD software. Not the new 4K capture utility, but the old one that's been around forever. And of course, you can still use it in OBS, so it still works. It's just, you know, it's not officially supported anymore. I had the HD60, the special white one, and then I had an HD60 Pro, and the HD60 Pro was my main capture card from November 2017 up until February 2019. So it was my main capture card for, like, I would say like a year and a half-ish. And it was a great card, fantastic card. The only reason why I got rid of it was because it was limiting me. Because in January 2019, I got a PS4 Pro, which of course could that's a 4K system, and the HD60 Pro can only do 1080p, so I had to get rid of it and get a 4K card. I got the Live Gamer Ultra. Oh yeah, by the way, I got rid of the original Elgato Game Capture HD and the HD60 around that same time period as well. I got rid of the HD60 in October 2018, and I got rid of the Game Capture HD in like March 2019, like shortly after I got the new card, which was the Live Gamer Ultra. It is, at the time of recording, in February of 2020, it is the best external game capture card you can buy. Now, it's not going to hold that title for long because, of course, the 4K 60S Plus from Elgato and the Live Gamer Bolt from AverMedia are on the way, and they can do 4K 60, HDR even, on the go in various methods, so it's not going to hold that title for long, but as of right now, it is the best external game capture card you can buy, and even when those new cards out, it's still going to be a great option and at a really good price point. It can do 1080p 60, 1080p 120, and 4K 30 recording. It can also pass through 4K 60 HDR recording, and it works really well, but I needed 4K 60 recording, so I went ahead, and after a long time of waiting, recently, I finally got the Live Gamer 4K, which is the best gaming capture card that you can buy. It supports 4K 60 HDR recording, 1440p 144 FPS, 1080p 240 FPS, ultra wide support, you know, all kinds of stuff. And it can record almost every single one of those at full RGB, not just YUI2, not just NV12. If you don't know what any of that means, don't worry, it's not a big deal, but if you know what I'm talking about, you'll know how awesome that is, because most game capture cards do not do RGB. I'm not talking about the lights, like I'm not talking about, you know, the color RGB thing. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about like it's a color mode for like capture. It's a different thing from, you know, colors, which for the record, the Live Gamer 4K does have RGB, like it has an RGB light, and it is pretty neat, although it doesn't have that many options, unfortunately, but it's nice to have, and it blends in well with the rest of my computer setup, so that's cool, I guess. But so yeah, I can capture basically anything I want, and it's gonna be the capture card I'm gonna be running for years to come, unless like 8K suddenly becomes a thing. Like, this is the best capture card you can buy. It does everything you'll ever need it to do, so I have the best capture card, period, as well as the best external capture card you can buy right now. So in terms of capture cards, I am set. I am good. I am not going to need to buy any new ones anytime soon. I'm going to be set for the next couple of years, without question. So I got a new capture card. However, you're not going to be seeing the effects of it immediately because, of course, the main advantage of the Live Gamer 4K is, well, 4K recording, and the Switch obviously can't do that yet. We'll have to wait and see. The Switch Pro is supposedly coming out this year. Will it support 4K? And even then, to what extent? Like, will it just upscale? Will it support, like, higher resolutions than 1080p in some games? Like, we're gonna have to wait and see. But the main reason why I bought it right now is for the PS4 Pro, which I cannot use right now because I sent it out for repair a couple weeks ago because it was having some really annoying problems where it kept freezing and stuttering. No matter what I did, it was on the menu, it was in games. There was something inherently wrong, so we sent it in. It's on its way back right now, and when I do, I'm going to be testing that out, you know, so that's going to be nice. But for the time being, you're just going to be seeing, like, you know, standard 1080p footage, you know, recorded from the Live Gamer Ultra, which is going to be compressed to heck on YouTube anyway, so you're not going to see the true quality of the capture cards anyway, but still. So, new capture card, new mic, so that's some improvements that are going to be pretty nice, but don't expect the 4K capture card to be really, really used until, like, the Switch Pro comes out, because of course, most of the content I do is Nintendo-based, and I like having Nintendo footage and stuff, but still. I will be using PS4 Pro gameplay, probably next video, but because by the time I do the next video, I'm going to have it back, so. Anyways, yeah, new capture card, new mic. Okay, enough about that. Okay, let's get on to our last topic for right now. Let's talk about Smash. And, Smash has gone through a lot in the last, like, month. I don't think I need to explain to you why, but I will, because I gotta talk about it. So, last time I talked about Smash was, of course, in that video that I made on the main channel, which, by the way, just recently passed 500 views, so that's awesome. That might not sound like a ton, but to me, 500 is a really good number, and I'm really glad to see that it's doing well. Thank you, everyone that has watched that video, by the way. And I will be making more of those in the future. I'm not going to promise anything right now, but there are some concepts I have for some other Smash-related videos that could be done in that similar format, and the mic will actually sound good this time. Anyway, so that video was about, how would they distribute the next round of DLC, because, of course, in September, Nintendo announced that there's going to be more DLC beyond the Fighters Pass. So, of course, it's like, okay, so is it going to be another Fighters Pass? Is it going to be individual? Is it going to be, like, how is it going to be done? And, of course, as we now know, there is a Fighters Pass Volume 2. It is on the way. I've already pre-ordered it. So, I'm in the clear. Anyway, see, I already have it, actually. So, I'm in the clear there. And, of course, yeah, it's going to have 6 fighters versus the 5 we would normally get. So, I got that wrong. I said that it would be literally just another Fighters Pass, like 5 characters, 5 stages, etc. But no, we're getting 6. But here's the catch. It's being spread across 2 whole years, which is incredibly interesting because they've never done that before. They've never done a season pass that takes like over a year in any game, but especially not for Smash, obviously. But this also means, I mean, we already knew there was going to be more, like, even before they announced that, hey, there's going to be more DLC. We all knew they were going to do more because there's no reason not to. Like, Smash is one of the best-selling games on the system. People want more DLC. We will gladly pay money for more characters. So why not, right? There's no reason not to, so. Anyways, so yeah, Fighters Pass Volume 2 is being stretched across 2 years. It said, when they revealed it, it said at the bottom, all of the DLC will be released by December 31st, 2021. So they are going to be spreading 6 characters across 2 years. Now, of course, we did just recently get a new character, and I'll talk about that character in a second. But yeah, like, that's really interesting because I figured that, yeah, they would just do like a Fighters Pass 2 this year, another 5 characters, 5 stages, whatever, and then they would do another one, like Volume 3, I guess now, in like 2021, and then the game would officially be done, quote unquote, in January or February of 2021. So that's definitely kind of interesting because, of course, the pattern has been like, the DLC will last like a year, and then we'll have like the last character come out like at the beginning of the following year. So, Smash 4, right? We got like a year's worth of DLC, and the last 2 characters, Corrin and Bayonetta, came out in February 2016. Fast forward to Smash Ultimate. The last fighter for the first pass came out in January 2020. So, prediction would seem to go that Fighters Pass 2 would have, 5 characters, which would be 4 characters this year, and then we get 1 in like February 2021 or whatever. And then we would probably get 1 more because there's like stuff in the data mine that shows that there's like more spaces and stuff. We'd probably get like 1 more in addition to that. And it would be 2021 to like February 2022, but no, they're not doing that. They're not doing 1 pass every year, which is what I thought they would do, because every other fighting game is doing that. No, they're switching it up a little bit. Now it's another pass, but with 6 characters, and they're spreading it across 2 years. And this makes me think that this is going to be it. Why would they spread the pass across 2 years if they were going to be planning to make another one? Then they would have just done the thing I just talked about, where it's like 5 this year, 5 next year, 2, 3, like, they would have just done that. But the fact that they didn't, and that they are doing 6 characters across 2 years, I think basically confirms that Volume 2 is it. Like, after that, we're done in terms of the new characters. Like, yeah, we'll probably get, like, a couple more balance patches and stuff, but in terms of new additions, that is it. Volume 2 is it, which, hey, that's fine. I mean, the game is going to be lasting us 2.5 more years, because we're still going to get a couple balance updates in, like, 2022 anyway. But, so, of course, this brings up, how are they going to release them? So, let's look at what we've gotten so far. So, of course, Piranha Plant, who was not a part of the Fighter's Pass, but I'm still going to count him, came out in February 2019. Then we had Joker in April. Then we had Hero in July. Then we had Banjo in September. Then Terry in November. And then we had the last character in January. So, therefore, we already have one character this year. Which means, my guess is it's going to be 3 per year. So, that means we have the first, we have a character already this year. Then we'll have 3 more, probably like one in like April or May, one of them in like July and August, and then one of them in like September, October, maybe November. It's gonna be a bit more split out than it was last year because there's less characters, but generally that's the time frame. But then 2021, we'll just have another 3, and it'll be like again like probably like April, like July, October-ish time frame and whatnot. Maybe I'll be wrong and they'll announce a Fighter's Pass Volume 3. Maybe they'll do that. I won't be shocked, but I don't think they're going to do that, because I don't see why they would spread out the DLC across 2 years if they were going to do more. I feel like the only reason why they are spreading them across 2 years is because they don't have any plans to do any more, and they want to, stretch the DLC for as long as they can, to keep the game alive and fresh for as long as they can. And that's fine. I'm not saying that they should cram all the characters into 1 year. I am not saying that. I would prefer them to spread it out, because it means the game will have a longer longevity. And the game will just be alive for longer, or will be supported for longer with balance patches and stuff like that. Because we're still going to get balance patches even after all the DLC is done, because look at Smash, Wii U and 3DS got a couple balance patches. Not many, but we got like 1 or 2, I think. No, we got 3, I think. No, was it 2 or... No, we got 2 balance patches, but we got 3 patches overall. We got one, of course, the DLC came out in February 2016. Then we got a balance patch in March. And then we got one last balance patch in May. That was the Bayonetta patch, because the only character that was affected was Bayonetta. And then, like, a year later, like, after the Switch was out and everything, they released a little update. It didn't do anything. There was no balance changes or anything, but we just added, like, amiibo support for the last couple amiibo that were taking forever to come out. And that was it. So we got 2 balance updates, but that was also the Wii U and 3DS, right? Like, the Switch version, I mean, look at Splatoon, right? Splatoon is still getting balance patches, even though they haven't done any new content in, like, forever. Like, the last time I think they released new content was, like, April 2019. And the last Splatfest was, like, of course, in July 2019. But they're still releasing balance patches. So... And Smash is bigger than Splatoon, even though Splatoon's already a pretty big title for Nintendo. But, so I think that we will probably get, like, another year of balance patches. Like, they're not going to be like every month, but like we'll get like at least like a couple more balance patches throughout like 2022, because Smash is just too big for them to not keep patching the game at least for a little longer. And again, who knows, maybe we'll get more DLC, maybe we'll get more DLC into 2022, and of course when we get more DLC that means more balance patches. But I don't think the game is going to be dead at the end of 2021. I think they're going to keep patching it at least for like 6 months to a year. I don't see them just leaving the game like that, especially because there's not going to be a new Smash for, like, years anyway. It's not like with Wii U and 3DS, where, like, the Wii U was, like, on its deathbed and the next console was on the way. It wasn't like that. Like, with the Switch, it's still, like, very much alive. Like, it's still going to be around, like, it hasn't, like, another, like, 4 or 5 years ahead of it, so... There's no point in just killing the game right there. Like, even if they don't release any more new content, they can still, like, do, spirits. They could still do, like, not Conquest. The tourney mode, the special tourney events, they can still do, like, and of course, they can still do balance patches. They can still absolutely do that, and I think that they will. But anyways, enough about, the future DLC. Point is, Fighter's Pass Volume 2 is coming. It's obviously super hype. I've already pre-ordered it, and we got 2 more years of Smash hype to go to. But before we talk about what's coming in the future, let's talk about what just happened, because I think it's safe to say that it basically broke the Smash community, which we all knew it was going to, basically. It was kind of a damned if you do, damned if you don't situation, but... So, anyways, after not seeing a new fighter at the Game Awards, which in hindsight, they probably dodged the bullet, like, even as someone that has absolutely no problem with the new character at this point, I mean, I never really did, but, like, I don't have any problem with them being in the game, and I actually like playing as them, and I like their stage and whatnot, but anyway, in retrospect, the Game Awards dodged the bullet, because the Game Awards that year was not that great. I mean, I'm not going to say it was a complete bomb, but it was, like, the worst one so far. There wasn't that much there. Outside of the Series X, there wasn't that much. It interested a lot of people. And we didn't get any Zelda or Smash. Again, looking back on it, considering how much people hated that year's Game Awards anyway, could you imagine if they revealed this character at the Game Awards? It would have been probably even worse than how it went down when they did eventually reveal the character. Okay, enough skirting around the character. I keep saying the character and avoiding saying what they are. But anyway, okay, so after not being at the Game Awards and waiting all this time, out of nowhere, Nintendo announced that there was going to be a Sakurai presentation that would reveal the 5th fighter. And of course, speculation rose, like, hey, there's a Dante thing, or there's like a Devil May Cry thing happening on that same day, maybe it's related, or maybe it's Sora because he has the 3 fingers. And then, after all that, the stream started, and Sakurai said, I hope that even if, I forget exactly what he said, but basically what he says is, even if this isn't the character that you wanted, I hope you'll still, I hope you won't be mad. It's basically what he said, which, at the time, everyone thought, oh, wait, that means, and then he said, oh, no one at Nintendo knows who this character is, and he made it, he simultaneously tried to lower our expectations, and yet raised them astronomically at the same time. Then, the smash / the click, and we see, within the first 2 seconds, everyone knew what it was. Before they even showed him, we all knew who it was. I didn't really mind, but the internet collectively just imploded when that happened. Because, that's right, I didn't think they would do it, and I'll explain why in a second, but hey, I was proven wrong, and yep, Byleth from 3 Houses is in Smash. I didn't really have a problem with it, but I knew the internet would have a problem with it. I knew a lot of people were going to be really mad, and because here's the thing, I'm not on Twitter anymore. I haven't been for months, and I have no desire to come back. I have no reason to come back. I've actually enjoyed, I've actually liked being off of Twitter more than I have been on it, but I already know, even though I didn't really look on Twitter that much, because I don't use Twitter anymore, but I knew that it was probably a nuclear war zone on there, probably. And there were a lot of videos. Not all of them were super negative, but there were a lot of videos. Okay. I think everyone, even as someone that likes the character, enjoys playing as them, and likes the stage and all that stuff, can say this was a terrible timing. This was terrible timing. I mean, again, like I said before, it was kind of a damned if you do, damned if you don't, because if they revealed Byleth at the Game Awards, it would have gotten the same reaction. If they revealed it in September, it would have gotten the same reaction. But they made it worse by delaying his reveal by months and not showing him in the Game Awards, and because everyone was waiting so long, they were hyping themselves up that this was gonna be an insane character, like Sora or Master Chief or whatever, right? People were getting really hyped, and then it all came crashing down. I mean, again, I didn't have a problem with him, but at the same time, I also can't really blame people for being at least a little bit mad. But obviously, don't go attack Sakurai. That's ridiculous. In fact, recently, in regards to that, there was a Japanese because he does Famitsu columns. He's done them for a long time. And I believe someone asked him about the whole too many Fire Emblem characters thing, and he said straight up, yes, I do think there are too many Fire Emblem characters and there are too many sword fighters. However, because that's what was asked of me, you know, I just did what I had to do. Translation: blame Nintendo, not me. And the thing is, we have known this for a very long time. When they first announced DLC, back in like November 2018, he said way back then that the DLC characters were picked by Nintendo and not him. And a lot of people took that to mean like, hey, this is like a preemptive thing, so like in the future, if a character gets revealed that people hate, he can say, hey, it's not my fault, it's Nintendo's, they're the ones that picked it. Now, I'm not saying that means that he didn't enjoy Byleth, because we already know he's a big Fire Emblem fan. I'm sure he was thrilled to put him in the game, but obviously, even he acknowledges, like, because here's the thing. Let's flash back to Corrin. Because I believe he said this in an interview. I don't think they said it in like the presentation when they revealed Corrin, but they said after the fact somewhere in like an interview, probably, maybe it was in Famitsu, I'm not entirely sure, but they did. Sakurai did talk about how he was initially resistant to putting Corrin in the game because he thought there was too many Fire Emblem characters, but the rest of his team convinced him to put it in the game. But the rest of his team like really wanted to put him in the game, so he was like, yeah, you know what, sure, why not? And that's how Corrin got in the game. Now, fast forward to Byleth, and at first I heard people talking about how he said that Byleth was originally supposed to be in the base game, but because they didn't have enough information on him at the time of development, they couldn't add him. Kind of similar to how Rex was, where like they were going to add him, but they couldn't because they didn't have enough information on him at the time. Kind of like that. But I also have only seen that once or twice, and I've not seen anyone else talk about it, so I'm assuming that was bogus and that wasn't actually true. So I think we can all agree, however, that Byleth was 100% a Nintendo choice. Like, there's no getting around that. It's a Nintendo choice, especially because of the timing. Like, okay, here's the weird thing, is that it would have actually made way more sense to release Byleth like the same time they released Hero, because Three Houses would have just came out. It would have been perfect, coordination right there. But they didn't do that. They waited until January to release Byleth for some reason. And the reason why it's pretty obvious that they only add the character because Nintendo wanted to add it, but also because they literally the same exact day they announced a new Three Houses expansion. The exact same day that they announced Byleth. If that is not coordinated marketing, then I don't know what is. That right there confirms that Byleth was indeed a, quote, promotional character. And I know people, and people hate promotional characters, even though I think it's not that big of a deal generally. But I get it. But I'm not saying I want one either. But I guess what I'm trying to say is, Corrin was added because Fire Emblem Fates was coming out, and Byleth was added because Nintendo wanted to promote Three Houses, because Three Houses was doing really well and they had a big expansion coming out. Does that mean that Sakurai hated the characters? Of course not. We all know he loves Fire Emblem, even outside of that kind of stuff. We know that he's a big Fire Emblem guy. I mean, the fact that he talked for like 10 minutes on Fire Emblem in the presentation should be proof enough right there. He's obviously a big fan of Fire Emblem, and I'm sure he personally was all for having Three Houses stuff in Smash. But the fact that he was like, yeah, but still probably was too much. Like, it's not. And here's the thing: Nintendo knows that people don't want more Fire Emblem characters. And the reason, because here's the thing: it's always the whole debate of, is it Fire Emblem that's the problem, or is it sword fighters that are the problem? I can tell you right now, especially because Byleth is like the most unique of all the Fire Emblem characters so far in terms of moveset. I can tell you right now, is Fire Emblem that people don't like. In like, not Fire Emblem as a series, because people love Three Houses and whatnot. But no, what I mean is like Fire Emblem in Smash, people don't like. Like, they think that, hey, there's plenty of characters, whatnot. There's plenty of characters. I personally don't mind Fire Emblem having like 8 characters because it's like most of the first party characters are like already in the game, so it's not like they're really taking away a slot from anyone else, at least from my perspective, at least in terms of like first party stuff. Okay, there's like Rex, There's Waluigi, although, you know, whether or not he could actually get in or not is a debate for another time. But you get the point, right? Like, you know, it's like, Byleth wasn't stealing a slot, really, from anyone else. Like, you know, we got K. Rool, we got Ridley, and whatnot. We got Chrom, we got Dark Samus, like, oh yeah, and Chrom was of course, a character people wanted. So that was never a problem. So you could say, well, hold on, how come people didn't complain about Chrom? Well, one, he was an Echo Fighter, and two, people actually wanted Chrom. People didn't ask for Corrin, and most people didn't. Even the Three Houses fans didn't ask for Byleth. They wanted, like, one of the house leaders. And they kind of got that, because we got the skins, and they're really cool, and we got the different weapons, which is also really cool, but yeah, so, like, even the Three Houses fans didn't want Byleth, which is kind of interesting. That's kind of why it seems like almost like, it's like almost everyone's on the same page for once, in a way. That being said, though, the reason why ultimately, I think all of the backlash, all of the, you know, everything that happened with Byleth's reveal was completely unnecessary is for one simple reason. There's more DLC. There's more DLC. That right there. Like if Byleth was the last character, this would be a completely different story, but Byleth is not the last character. Byleth was never the last character. We have known for months that there is going to be more DLC. So what's the big deal? Like, I get it. I would have preferred to, like, have someone else be the last character. Like, if you were going to ask me how to arrange it, like, how to arrange the, like, Smash DLC in a way that, like, would probably not piss people off the most, keep Joker as the first one, because that one worked really well. Have the second one be... Okay. Have the second one be Byleth. Like, instead of Hero being at E3, it's Byleth. Because they both kind of serve the same role, as in, like, not that many people really asked for that. Well, okay. Well, at least in the West, anyway. Because obviously Dragon Quest is huge in Japan and all that stuff. But you get my point, though, right? It's like, have Byleth be the more downer reveal, quote-unquote. You know, I like Hero, I like Byleth, but you get my point, right? Like, in terms of, like, hype, like, they're the lower between them and Banjo, obviously. So we have Byleth at E3, then we have Banjo, then we have, okay, hold on, I'm, like, blanking out right now. Okay, then we have, Hero take Yeah, then we have Hero, then we have Terry. I think that's the best way they could have gone about it, at least in my opinion. That probably would have been the best way they could have minimized... People would have complained about Byleth no matter what, but that would have been like... And you might say, well, being at E3, wouldn't that make it even worse? Well, no, because they would have Banjo. It's the same thing with Corrin and Bayonetta, where people were like, when it came to Corrin, but we had Bayonetta, so it made up for it, right? So it's like Byleth, and we have Banjo, and everyone's like cool with Byleth because we have Banjo in the game. So that's basically what happened with Hero. Like, people were like kind of like, okay, we got Hero, sure, whatever, I guess. And then we had Banjo, and people didn't mind it. And then people were like, okay, sure, Hero, whatever. We got, you know, we got a Banjo. It's all that matters. So yeah, in fact, from that perspective, I think it would have been a smart idea if they were gonna, you know, still reveal Byleth in January. It would have been a smarter idea to reveal Byleth and then reveal the next character. Like, reveal Crash or someone else that would, like, take the weight off of Byleth and would make people be fine with Byleth. But they didn't do that. We had Cuphead, and that was really cool, and we got, you know, again, the reveal of Fighter Pass Volume 2, which did make up for it a bit in the eyes of people, but still, people were complaining about Byleth even, like, a week after the reveal. Like, it was crazy. At this point, you know, it's all said and done. Byleth is out, and, you know, it's all said and done, and it doesn't matter anymore. And Byleth is now a part of the Smash family, and that's just how it is. And again, I actually enjoy Byleth. I like playing as Byleth. I like the stage. I like the music. So I'm cool with Byleth. Byleth is by no means my favorite DLC character. That still goes to Joker. In fact, Byleth is probably my least favorite of at least the Fighters Pass characters. Like, if we include Piranha Plant, that might be a little different. But in terms of just the core Fighters Pass characters, my order from least favorite to most favorite would be Byleth, Barry, a fail. Byleth, Banjo, oh my god, Hero, Terry, then Joker. Now, you might be surprised why I'm putting Banjo that low. Well, I'm basing it off of how much I enjoy playing as the character. I enjoy playing as Hero more than I do Banjo, but Banjo's still awesome. And again, I'm cool with Byleth, but so... Okay, long story short, controversy, but the character is now out, and now everyone's basically cool with them now, so... It was always going to be a temporary solution. You know, once the character is out and people actually play as them, they'll be like, okay, this character is actually kind of fun. And most people seem to be enjoying playing as Byleth, so... At the end of the day, it's all under the bridge, it's done. And of course, once the next character gets announced, then people are going to 100% just be done with it. So... Yeah, so... Smash! It's gone through a lot over the last month. And it probably didn't help that we had to wait like 2 weeks for Byleth. Like, in a way, because I think it would have been probably better if Byleth just came out right then and then, because then people wouldn't have had to build up. Like, at first I thought it was a good idea because it was like, people got to cool down. And so it was both a good and a bad thing, because it's like, if they came out right then and there, then people could have just played as them immediately, and they probably would have been like, okay, they're actually kind of fun to play as. But at the same time, waiting 2 weeks was also kind of a good idea because it let people cool down, right? Like, the people that were really mad, they got to cool down and chill out. So by the time Byleth actually released, people were like fine basically with it. But anyways, so enough about. So the point is, Byleth is out. We got more DLC on the way. That's pretty awesome. But one last thing is the whole thing with Sakurai talking about how he didn't pick Byleth. Nintendo picked Byleth and whatnot, and how that is kind of interesting because again, we have known for a long time that Nintendo is the one that picked the DLC, but the thing is, it was never 100% clear what that meant. I interpreted it as Nintendo gave him basically a selection, like say, here's 50 or 100 characters that you can pick from. You pick whatever you want from these, like 50 or 20 or 30 characters or whatever, right? And then he picked which ones he thought were the most suitable, and that's who got in. But maybe it's not actually like that, because up until this point, that's what I've been assuming, because none of the characters felt like Nintendo picks. They felt like Sakurai picks, like Joker. Why would Nintendo put Joker in the game? There's no reason for them to. Hero. Okay, Hero was probably the closest to a quote Nintendo pick because they obviously heavily promoted like Dragon Quest XI's because they were publishing it and they had a lot of cross stuff because of that. But I don't think Hero was added solely for marketing. I think they added Hero because Dragon Quest was big first, and then also being able to market the port second. It was like killing two birds with one stone. Banjo, obviously, that's just pure fan service. There's no reason for Nintendo, from a marketing perspective, to pick that. And then Terry, again, there's no reason for them to pick that, really. Terry, if anything, is the most Sakurai pick of all of them, because, of course, he's a huge SNK fan. As he never mentioned it when he talked about Terry, but for those of you who don't know, actually, Smash originated from Sakurai beating a couple in like King of Fighters 94 back in the day, and he was like, man, these games are really complicated. I need to make a game that's like more simpler and easier for people to pick up and play. And hence, Smash was born out of him destroying a couple in like King of Fighters. So you have SNK to thank for Smash existing. So it made a lot of sense. And especially because of how much he talked about it, it made sense to me. Like, that was the Sakurai, like, of like the Fighters Pass characters, that was the Sakurai pick, 100%. And then Byleth comes out, and he makes that statement recently where he was like, I think there's too many characters in the game, and it's all Nintendo, and it's like so weird. Like, it like breaks the cycle. Like, the entire idea we have had for the DLC was shattered with Byleth. First-party character. I did not think they were going to do a first-party character, and if they were, I did not think it would be Byleth. I'm also not surprised that it's Byleth, but like, I thought like it was only going to be third-party, because all of them were third-party. And it just didn't make sense to me why they'd do a first-party. But, we got a first-party character, and at first the whole, they were supposed to be in the base game thing made sense, but that's also not true, so yeah. So, I guess now the whole thing of... So, I guess what I'm trying to say is, does Sakurai have any say in the DLC? I mean, he's got to have at least some say. It's just kind of strange to me, because it's like, all of the picks minus Byleth make sense from Sakurai's perspective. I mean, of course, Terry, but even then, like, none of the picks made any real sense outside of maybe Hero for Nintendo to pick, and then we just have Byleth. Maybe it was a compromise, like, okay, you can pick 4 of the characters, but we want Byleth. And he was like, okay, fine. Or something like that. Maybe it's a compromise, I don't know, but I don't know. I think it's just because it's interesting because now people are like worried about Fighters Pass Volume 2. They're like, oh boy, now we're just gonna get like first-party characters. Like, no. We're still gonna get third-party characters. We're still gonna get third-party characters that people are gonna be really excited for. We're gonna get like Sora or Gino, or we're gonna get like, we're gonna get at least like 1 or 2 more really big fan requests. Then we'll have a couple other third parties, and then we'll like have maybe 1 like or 2 first parties, which I'm fine. Like if they added a new Sword and Shield character, I'd be okay with that actually, because I don't even care. I don't care if it's one of the starter evolutions. I don't care if it's Toxtricity, which I know I probably just butchered that name. Toxtricity. I don't know how you say it because or even like the new like Pokemon that's coming in like Isle of Armor or whatever. Like I don't care who the Pokemon is, because I just want the music and a stage. Just give me the Galar gym battle theme and the Hop battle theme on a Sword and Shield stage, and I am happy. Like I just want the music and the stage. I don't care who the character is. So I'm on board with a Sword and Shield rep, and I think it makes sense considering that Sword and Shield is still going to be a thing in 2020 with the DLC anyway. So I guess what I'm trying to say is, if we get a first-party character in Volume 2, we're probably going to get at least 1. I think it'll probably be a Sword and Shield character. I know some people will complain about that, but I'd be all for it, and regardless, it'll go over way better than Byleth did, so I guess at the end of the day, nothing's really going to change. We're still, like, the DLC as it is not going to really change. It's just kind of like, like, I guess Sakurai doesn't really pick them, or like how does it work? Actually, no. I think he might have said Nintendo picks them, and then he like talks about if it's good for the game or not, or like if they can work well in game. And that's probably why Byleth was, because he was probably like didn't really want to put Byleth in the game because again, other Fire Emblem characters, like you said, but he was like, but hey, we can do all this cool stuff with them, so this could work. And that's probably why he was even cool with it, because hey, we can, we'll just make him not a sword fighter or whatever. But anyways, I probably have talked for long enough. So point is, Byleth is out, and there's more DLC on the way. So, oh yeah, and we're gonna get a Hollow Knight costume, calling that now. I mean, we got Cuphead and we got Sans, 2 big indie characters, and they both came with a track. Hollow Knight is a huge request in terms of indies. It's basically the Shovel Knight. Like you remember how Shovel Knight was like a huge request back in Smash 4? Like the Hollow Knight character is like the Shovel Knight of like Ultimate in terms of indie characters. So I think that is 100% happening as a Mii costume with a track again. I just think that just makes too much sense. That's going to happen. Maybe not for the first character, or the second character, or the third character in the second pass, but it's going to happen. There's no reason why it won't. So anyways, that's all I have to talk about. This video is probably like an hour long. I don't know how long it actually is. I'm not looking at the recording window right now, but so yeah, that's a lot to talk about. I'll probably put links in the description to when I change topics, but so yeah, Marvel is a lot going to be happening in the second half of the year. 20th Century Studio is a thing now. We got Byleth, and we got more characters on the way, and I got a new capture card and a new mic, so that's some cool stuff. So yeah, as I said before, I do have a couple more video ideas. One of which would be what I want to see added to Smash Ultimate. And I'm not talking characters, because I'm not going to do that. I'm talking about like just general additions, like, spoiler alert, like a 2-player like local battle arena, like basically how it was in Smash Wii U, like 2-player co-op in World of Light, break the targets, stuff like that. And I even have a couple other things that I'm not going to spoil. I'm going to save it for the video. That I guarantee you most people have not talked about and probably don't care about, but I love to see them get in. So that's a video that's going to be most likely the next main video I work on the main channel, so be on the lookout for that. Again, I'm not going to be promising a release date or anything. I mean, I want to get it done sometime this month, and of course, when it's coming, I will probably make a post about it in the community section on the main channel and whatnot, so be on the lookout for that. And that being said, if you made it this far in, thank you. That being said, this is Logan589XP, and I will see you guys next time.